Right now, millions of Americans are either about to receive something in the mail from Social Security or they already have. And a lot of people are opening that envelope, glancing at the number, and setting it aside without really reading what it says. That is a mistake that could cost you real money. Because what Social Security has been sending out isn't just routine paperwork. It contains information that directly determines how much money hits your bank account, whether your raise got eaten up before it ever reached you, and in some cases, whether you're owed a check you haven't received yet. And today, I want to walk you through exactly what is going on, what to look for, and what action you need to take before you miss something important. There are actually two separate types of notices going out from Social Security right now, and they affect different groups of people. Some of you are receiving the annual benefit notice, the one that spells out your payment amount for 2026. Others, especially teachers, firefighters, police officers, and federal workers, may be receiving a completely different kind of letter related to a new law that just changed the rules entirely. And some of you might be getting both. I'm going to cover all of it because whether you fall into one group or two, there are details inside these notices that you absolutely need to understand before you assume everything is in order. Let's start with the notice that roughly 75 million Americans are either receiving now or will receive very soon. Most people hear Social Security sent me a letter and they assume it's just confirming their usual payment. But this particular notice is called the COLA notice, the cost of living adjustment notice, and it is the official document that tells you your new monthly benefit amount for 2026. It's been formally called the SSA 4926-SM, if you've ever seen that on paperwork. And unlike some of the longer documents Social Security used to mail out, this one is designed to be one page, clear, and personalized. Your exact dollar amount, your deductions, your net payment, all listed right there. Here's where things become important. The 2026 COLA is 2.8%. That sounds like good news, and in isolation it is. On a $1,500 monthly benefit, 2.8% is about $42 more per month, roughly $504 more over the full year. On a $2,000 monthly benefit, you're looking at about $56 more per month, which is nearly $672 in additional income over 12 months. On $2,500 a month, that's $70 more every month, adding up to $840 extra over the year. So yes, this is real money. But here's what a lot of people don't realize until they actually open the letter and look at the bottom line. The number that matters isn't the top line. It's the net, what actually gets deposited into your account. Most people receiving Social Security are also enrolled in Medicare, and Medicare Part B premiums are automatically deducted from your Social Security payment every month. For 2026, the standard Medicare Part B premium jumped from $185 to $202.90. That is a $17.90 per month increase, and it is the second largest increase in the history of the program. Now, let's do the math together. If your COLA increase adds $56 to your monthly payment, but your Part B premium just went up $17.90, your real take-home increase isn't $56. It's closer to $38. That's still something, but it's not what most people were told to expect. And for beneficiaries on lower incomes where the COLA bump is smaller, that Medicare increase wipes out an even bigger share of the raise. The Senior Citizens League put it plainly. This is the third straight year that Medicare Part B premium increases have risen faster than Social Security's COLA. So if your benefit notice looks smaller than you expected, this is almost certainly why. But that's not the whole story. There's a rule called the hold harmless provision that protects certain beneficiaries, and most people have never heard of it. Under federal law, Social Security is not allowed to let your net check go below what it was the year before, specifically because of Medicare Part B premium increases. So if you're in a situation where your COLA increase is smaller than the Medicare premium hike, the government is required to cap your Part B premium increase to make sure you at least break even. That protection exists, but it doesn't apply to everyone, and it doesn't protect you from other deductions or changes. Pay close attention to this. If you are subject to something called IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount, you're already paying more than the standard Part B premium. And your increase in 2026 may be significantly different from what your neighbor or your sibling is paying. IRMA surcharges are based on your income from 2 years ago. So if you had a high income year in 2024, from a Roth conversion, a property sale, a required minimum distribution, anything, that income is what Social Security is looking at right now to determine your 2026 premium. If your income put you above $106,000 for an individual or $212,000 for a couple, you're in IRMA territory, and the extra charges can range from an additional $74 per month all the way up to several $100s per month on top of the standard premium. That is a meaningful reduction in your net payment, and it's spelled out in a separate IRMA notice, not the standard COLA letter. Here's what many people miss. If your income was elevated in 2024 because of something that won't repeat, like a one-time sale, a distribution, a settlement, you can actually appeal the IRMA surcharge. The form is called SSA 44. It's the life-changing event form, and it lets you request that Social Security use your more recent income instead of the 2024 figure. If your current income is lower, that appeal could reduce or eliminate hundreds of dollars in monthly surcharges. So if you received an IRMA notice, do not just accept the number. Check whether you have grounds to appeal. That one step could put real money back in your pocket every single month. Now I want to talk about the second type of notice that Social Security has been sending out, and this one involves some of the largest back payments in the history of the program. If you worked as a teacher, a firefighter, a police officer, a federal employee covered by the civil service retirement system, or in certain jobs that had their own pension system, rather than paying into Social Security, there's a very good chance you were affected by two provisions called the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. For decades, these two rules reduced or completely eliminated Social Security benefits for people in those groups. A teacher with a state pension, for example, might have had her Social Security retirement benefit cut by $500 a month simply because she also had a pension. A surviving spouse of a police officer might have had her spousal benefit reduced to zero because of the government pension offset. Millions of public servants worked their entire careers and then watched their Social Security get slashed, even though many of them had paid into the system for years before or after their government work. That changed on January 5th, 2025, when the Social Security Fairness Act was signed into law. The law ended both the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset completely, and it didn't just fix benefits going forward, it applied retroactively, all the way back to January 2024, which means affected beneficiaries were owed back pay for every month those reductions were applied from January 2024 onward. Social Security moved faster than anyone expected. As of July of 2025, the agency had already sent out more than 3.1 million payments, totaling $17 billion to eligible beneficiaries, 5 months ahead of their original schedule. For some people, those retroactive payments were substantial. A retiree whose monthly benefit had been reduced by $300 was owed more than $4,200 in back payments just for the 14-month retroactive period. Some people received significantly more. And then on top of that, their ongoing monthly benefit was permanently increased starting April 2025. Here's where costly mistakes happen. If you fall into one of these categories, teacher, firefighter, officer, federal employee under CSRS, or someone who worked jobs not covered by Social Security, and you have not received a notice or an adjusted payment, you need to act. The SSA has been sending mailed notices to everyone whose benefit has been changed or who has received a retroactive payment. If you believe you were affected by WEP or GPO and you haven't seen a notice or a payment change, don't assume it was handled automatically. Some cases required manual review and took longer. Others involved people who were eligible but had never applied for benefits at all because they assumed the old rules disqualified them. If that's you, you may need to file a new application to access benefits you didn't know you were entitled to. There's another detail many viewers overlook. Some beneficiaries were receiving 2 separate mailed notices from Social Security, one when the WEP or GPO was removed from their record, and a second one confirming their adjusted monthly payment amount. If you received the first one but not the second, or if you got a retroactive payment but your monthly check hasn't increased, contact Social Security directly. The number is 1-800-772-1214. Or better yet, log into your My Social Security account online at ssa.gov to check the status of your record. And this part matters for everyone watching, not just those affected by WEP or GPO. One of the most important things you can do right now is set up a My Social Security account online if you haven't already. It costs nothing, it takes about 15 minutes, and it gives you immediate access to every notice Social Security has sent you, including your COLA notice, your IRMA notice if you have one, and any Fairness Act adjustment notices. You don't have to wait for mail, you don't have to wonder if something got lost, and you can download official copies for taxes, housing applications, or income verification at any time. The online account is now the primary way SSA delivers notices, and if you're still relying on paper mail, you may be getting information weeks later than someone who checks online.
Let me take a moment on that tax issue, because it connects directly to these benefit notices, and a lot of people overlook it. Congress recently passed a new $6,000 senior deduction that went into effect for the 2025 tax year. If you are 65 or older, you can now deduct up to $6,000 from your federal taxable income, separate from the standard deduction you already take. This matters because a significant number of retirees pay federal income tax on a portion of their Social Security benefits, and this new deduction can reduce or completely eliminate that tax bill, depending on your income level. If your current tax withholding from Social Security was set before this deduction existed, you may be over withholding, meaning you're getting less per month than you need to, only to get a refund at tax time. Your COLA notice is a good trigger to revisit your withholding and make sure your setup reflects the new rules. Form W4-4V is what you'd use to adjust voluntary withholding from Social Security. Most people don't realize how many moving parts go into that final number on their Social Security statement. You've got your gross benefit, adjusted up by the COLA. You've got Medicare Part B being deducted, plus Part D if applicable, plus any IRMA surcharges. You've got voluntary tax withholding if you've set that up, and you've got other potential adjustments depending on your specific situation. All of that gets resolved into the single net amount that actually hits your bank account. The COLA notice is the one document that shows you every piece of that picture for 2026. So when it arrives, whether in the mail or in your online account, read every line. Don't just look at the new monthly amount. Look at what changed, what's being deducted, and whether the numbers match what you expected. Here's one final thing I want to make sure every single person watching understands. There has been a sharp rise in Social Security impersonation scams over the past year. The Federal Trade Commission has flagged government impersonation fraud as the top category targeting seniors, and the timing of these real notices going out to tens of millions of people makes it a perfect cover for fraudsters. If someone calls you claiming to be from Social Security and asks you to verify your information, send a payment, or provide your bank account details, hang up. Social Security does not call you out of the blue to demand information or money. They communicate primarily by mail. If you receive a call that worries you, hang up and call Social Security directly at 1-800-772-1213 or check your official online account. Never respond to unsolicited calls claiming to be the SSA, no matter how convincing they sound. So let me bring this all together. Social Security is sending out two major types of notices right now. The first, going to roughly 75 million Americans, is the 2026 COLA notice, your personalized statement showing your new gross benefit, any Medicare deductions, and your net payment. The COLA is 2.8%, but Medicare Part B went up 9.7%. So most people's real take-home increase is smaller than the headline number. If you're subject to IRMA, your situation may be different still, and if your income dropped in 2025, you may have grounds to appeal. The second type of notice is specifically for people affected by WEP or GPO, teachers, firefighters, police officers, federal employees, whose benefits were reduced for decades under rules that have now been repealed. If you're in that group and haven't seen a payment adjustment or a notice, don't assume everything is handled. You may need to reach out or file a new application. The one action that ties all of this together is your online My Social Security account. Log in, check your notices, verify your numbers, and make sure the records SSA has on file match your actual situation. If something looks off, a payment that hasn't arrived, a deduction that doesn't make sense, a number that changed without explanation, call the agency directly. Don't wait and hope it works itself out. If you found this video helpful, please hit subscribe right now. The reason it matters is simple. Social Security rules change, Medicare premiums change, new laws pass, new notices go out, and most people don't find out until something already went wrong. Subscribers here get that information before it becomes a problem, before the deadlines pass,
before the wrong amount gets locked in, before they realize they missed something they could have acted on. That's what this channel is for, making sure you're never the last person to know about something that directly affects your retirement income. Subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a video, and I'll see you in the next one.